Hello, this is Chantel, your therapist. Okay, so today we're going to do a lesson on anxiety. So it's most likely going to be on generalized anxiety disorder, but it also accounts for social anxiety. Okay, so we're going to get started. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of go over like the cycle of anxiety, how you recognize the like signs and symptoms of anxiety, and then like briefly kind of discuss like what to do when you have anxiety, some kind of quick go-to guide, like when you have it, something quick to kind of like take you out of that mode. So to start, I'm going to pull up this information sheet so I can have a visual to show you on anxiety. All right, so what is anxiety? All right, so I hope you guys can see this. Anxiety is your body's reaction to anything that you find scary or threatening. So occasionally anxiety is normal, but most times it interferes with your goals or interferes with the quality of your life. And some of the symptoms of anxiety is like having uncontrolled worry or poor concentration, excessive nervousness, increased heart rate, like your heart starts to speed up, sleep problems, either the quality of your sleep, like you go to sleep, but you can't stay asleep, you wake up in the middle of the night, or you have a hard time falling asleep. Decreased enjoyment, like sometimes you feel like you're just going through the motions, like you're not really finding enjoyment, but you just got to get stuff done. Muscle tension, feeling tension, like maybe in your neck and your shoulder areas, or any other muscle or other part of your body, or stomach upset, okay? So the types of anxiety, we have generalized anxiety, which is basically you worry about different things like work, health, relationship, or your finances, okay? You might have phobias where you have an intense fear of a certain thing like spiders, and then you avoid that, okay? Or have a fear of flying, you might just avoid flying. And then there's panic when there's an extreme anxiety response accompanied by like physical symptoms and overwhelming feeling of dread, all right? So with anxiety, there's normally a cycle of avoidance, okay? And with the cycle of avoidance, you have the anxiety, you avoid whatever the thing is that you think is causing anxiety, kind of feel some relief, but then it intensifies. Because the thing with anxiety, if you don't address the thing that you're trying to avoid, it just suppresses it for a while, but then it comes back up when you're triggered again, okay? So that's like how it works. So you might think like, okay, I'm just going to avoid that thing and I'll be fine. But it's actually over the long term is making you develop a fear response. So the fear is building up, even though it's like it's suppressed because you're not like exposing yourself to the thing. But it's there. So it's actually intensifying. So that's how the cycle kind of continues. Okay. All right. So we got that clear, right? So now let's go into what the cycle is like. But before, you know what? Before we go into that, let's go into the anxiety cycle. I'm gonna show you this card right here. So this is the anxiety cycle, and I'm gonna kind of like read it to you. So you kind of see it there. Give you a moment to process that. So the anxiety cycle is we get triggered by some situation. Sometimes it's not even a physical or outside thing that triggers us. Sometimes it's a thought that occurs in your mind. Sometimes a thought that occurs in our mind, and we get triggered by something, and then we start thinking on it, interpreting the situation, thinking a worst case scenario, and then we have some type of emotional response. So some negative emotions associated with it, some negative cognitions, you know, like we might have black and white thinking. We're thinking, oh my God, it's either right or wrong. I got to do this or that. Or some negative mental filtering where you only think about the worst possible scenario, okay? Those are some cognitive distortions that we'll go over in another video. And then you have some physiological response, like you might like stomach upset, muscle tension, you know, just different things that goes on. And then the behavior response would be either avoid the situation, you know, or try to distract yourself by doing something so you won't think about it. And then you get short-term relief. And then it's long-term consequences because when you trigger it again, it's going to come back up. It's going to be worse. So it's a cycle reinforcement. So that's the anxiety cycle right there. So what do you do like when you're in the midst of like of an anxiety attack? Well, the first thing is to acknowledge that you're feeling a bit anxious. So the key to helping to combat anxiety is to acknowledge where you are in that cycle. Okay. So when you feel anxious, instead of like trying to like distract or avoid, sometimes it's good if you like have like, it feels like a panic attack's about to come on, then that's a good time to do something to distract yourself from your feelings. But that's a temporary fix. It's not something that you should have long term. What you should do first is observe your emotions. So that feelings wheel that we talked about, okay? Having like identifying one, your primary emotion. Am I angry, sad, mad, frustrated? You know what I'm saying? And then say, okay, what's behind this feeling? And then look on that second tier of the feelings emotions wheel and go deeper, dive deeper into your emotions. So, and then you can say, what am I like feeling saying? Like, well, you know, or next you start going to your thought, like, okay, what am I thinking about how I feel? You know what I'm saying? So you start exploring, doing like that Socratic questioning to kind of get down to the nitty gritty. Okay. So we have to lean into our sensations. So we lean into our feelings. So our feelings, when they become manifest in in physical form, is the body sensations. You know what I'm saying? The stomach upset, the headache, the muscle tension, the nervousness, the butterflies. So those are your feelings manifested in the physical. So pay attention and lean into that. It's okay, why am I feeling this? What am I feeling? Observe your emotions. You know, don't judge it, just observe it. Okay, I'm feeling my stomach's upset because I'm worried about this, and just saying that, like, I feel anxious or I feel apprehensive about this. And the more specific you are, the better you'll feel, because you're getting down to the nitty gritty, because those emotions are like little trigger systems to say, hey, pay attention to me. This is going on. This is how we feeling. Don't suppress me. Acknowledge me. It's like a kid trying to get attention. That's what your feelings like. Once you acknowledge it, it simmers down. Okay. So the next thing is, be willing to feel your emotions. Let your body feel it. So sit down, plant your feet on the ground, go outside, you know, sit in the grass, ground yourself, and take a deep breath. In through the nose on 2, hold for 1 second, out through the mouth on 4. Do that like 3 or 4 times to get centered and say, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. My stomach's kind of hurting, my head a little achy. You know, what's behind this? What's behind this? So that's the type of thing that you do. Okay. So just be willing to feel your emotions. Acknowledge your emotions first, and then be willing to feel them. Okay. And then you, because when you're willing to feel them, you're taking a pause. I'm not going over here to watch TV to distract myself. I'm not going over here to, you know, do whatever you're doing to distract yourself. I'm just going to stop and feel how I feel. I'm going to honor my body, honor my spirit, and see what it is that I need, which is basically my body is saying, I need you to hear me and feel me at this time. So that's what you do. So then you kind of explore your anxiety. Get clear, make it clear on what it is. So, you know, you're doing a check to say, okay, what is this? You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling this, but why am I feeling this? Am I in any physical danger? Is it something that I should be doing that I'm not? You know, is this coming from like my thoughts? You know, am I worried about something's going on? Is making me like jump ahead and think about the worst possible scenario. You know what I'm saying? I'm some kind of mental filtering. I'm thinking about whatever the worst thing that can happen, and I'm not consciously aware of it. Am I like judging myself? You either do it this way or that way. This right or wrong. You should have did that the other day. Am I doing that? Am I over catastrophizing? Am I making the situation worse than what it is? You know what I'm saying? Those are things you start exploring. So you get clear on that. And then whatever it is, I'll always say, write it down. So write down what you're feeling first, at least 3 emotions of how you're feeling. What's my 3 physical body symptoms is coming with that. When I do this deep breathing, am I calming down? Does it help? Okay, yeah, I do feel a little bit more centered. Okay, now what is it that I'm worried about? What am I thinking about that's bringing this anxiety on? Oh, I'm worried about this test I got to take. I'm worried about that bill I couldn't pay. I couldn't afford this month. You know, it's going to mess up my credit. You know what I'm saying? Just start writing it down so you can get you clear on what it is. You're making it concrete. So then you can clear any faulty thinking. Is there anything that I can do about these things that I'm worried about at this time? So you start like looking to see. So you start we call it the locus of control or the circle of control. You know, what can I control, what I can't control. So, you know, maybe right now you can't afford to pay that bill that you missed like 5-6 days ago. So you might be worried about it hitting your credit or something like that. But that you can't control at this point. What I can control is come up with a plan about how I'm gonna get the payment in before it hits my credit. You know what I'm saying? So you look at what is outside of my control and what's within my control, and you write a list of those things. So that's organizing your thoughts. Okay. So that's how you can like rein in that anxiety. So you taking control of the situation where you can like release the stuff that doesn't work for you, or you know what I'm saying, something you can't control. So there's no point in thinking about it. You taking that out of your baggage. You setting it aside. I'm letting that go for now. And what I am going to do, I'm going to focus on the things that I can change or come up with a plan on how to make this work. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So another thing I like to do is anxiety coping statements. So one of the things is I choose to slow down and breathe. That really should be the first thing you do. That's how you connect with your body and your soul, by taking deep breaths, get connected, getting grounded in the moment, and paying attention to where you are. Okay. Stop trying to distract. Stop trying to stop all worrying and get centered. Okay. I'm anxious. I'm worried because of this reason. State the obvious, which is not that obvious when we in it, because especially if you have anxiety, because you're trying to just avoid and distract. So state the obvious. I'm anxious because I'm worried about not being able to pay that bill on time. So you're in the moment taking a breath. That's where I'm at. That's what I'm worried about. Okay. Okay. So then what you say is, this doesn't define me. This is a situation that's occurring, but it does not define me. And then you're going to choose peace over worry. So I can cope. I'm strong. You know, not all thoughts and facts are true. Everything that comes up in my mind sometimes is not true. You know, I'm probably not going to get like a hit on my credit because it probably takes so many days, but that's my worry and fear where I'm over catastrophizing. And I am safe. And I'm going to be okay, and this too shall pass. So those are kind of like coping statements or affirmations to kind of get you through, okay? So just to review, take a deep breath, allow the feeling to be and let it pass. Watch your thoughts without judgment. Remember that feelings are not facts, and trust in your ability to get through things, okay? All right, until next time.